Man, I've been busting my butt all day, yesterday and today, and we got the box built, got it installed, and got it playing just like 5 minutes ago. I'm still covered in MDF dust, but I'm here, baby. So let's get the party started.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop, ever, until you are dead.
Stupid, you know. They cannot make things like that yet.
Not yet. Not for about 40 years.
Bargained with, it can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop, ever, until you are dead.
Rob, this is in the house. Let's go Quaid in the house. Out there
Can you stop it?
And it absolutely will not stop, ever. Microprocessor control, fully armored, very tough. Listen.
Hey, listen, guys.
Terminator is out there.
Till you are dead. Oh, good times all around, baby. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing this fine Friday night? All us old folks, we don't go out and party anymore. We just chill and watch crazy people on YouTube because that's how it works these days. So I spent the weekend, not the weekend. Technically, it wasn't my weekend, but I'm retired, so you know every day's a work day, and also every day is the weekend. But we spent the last 2 days all friggin' day breathing MDF dust, and I've got a collection of it now. I've got quite the MDS booger started up in my face. But we've been breathing MDF dust and cutting up box and building a 212 box for Josh to put in his little car. And we built it for two Rockford Fosgate P312s. They are not ideal subwoofers for doing crazy things. So I did the best I could, using the Rockford specs as the jumping off point. There's going to be a video up. It'll be up tomorrow sometime, maybe. I got about 3 or 4 hours of video footage to go through and try to shrink it down into something that you could eat. But it's all 4K, and that's got to happen. You know how 4K producing works. It's kind of a long process, but never mind that. The box sounds badass. I mean, it really, really brought those subs to life. He had those subs in a tiny little box. I mean, it was ridiculously small, and had a high tune port. I built his replacement enclosure, tuned it to approximately 30 hertz, somewhere between 30 and 32. I think it's closer to 30. And I used the recommended airspace from Rockford, and then I added about 10% to it. And I used Rockford's recommendation for the port sizes, and I used 2 round ports. We did a whole lot of finishing today. We had the box built last night about midnight, and today we spent the whole day just sanding, shaping, and fixing little nicks and stuff to make it look nice. And then we coated it with a lightweight bed liner spray. It turned out pretty damn good, but man, how it sounds. Holy cow, that thing really gets down. So I'm looking forward to getting some more testing done with him. He's going to be well above a 40 now. He was struggling to hit a 135 before, and it was bad. This thing here is going to be, we were playing 26 and 24 hertz on it out there, and it was just shaking. I mean, it was shaking the whole car. It was really good. Really impressive for those Rockford subs. They only have like 14 or 15 millimeters of one-way travel, so they're not super good for playing lows, but you get the right box on it, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. It's the boxes. You can make anything perform. So, wow, let's get started. Let's see. We got the hellos, and there, Rob Richards. So Rob Richards had a question right off the bat. I need to light my cigarette. I hate these damn things going out all the time. It sucks. I do more holding than I do smoking. Rob said, "What's up? Does a truck under lithium do good in the cold?" Well, the version 2 and actually all 3 of them are rated to 32 degrees below zero. Are they going to perform as well in ridiculously cold atmospheres? No. The amount of power that they can take in and put out is reduced, anything below freezing really. But they're not going to go volatile and catastrophic at those temperatures either. So if it's freezing outside, just, don't go crazy with the base, especially charging it. If you noticed, if you let one somehow or another, you let it set up for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, and the voltage drops and it's going to be sucking in a ton of power when you start it, you might want to put a battery charger on it first and let it charge slow. But daily driving the thing, as long as you don't have a crazy voltage drain and you're not going to be spiking tons of amps into it all of a sudden when it's cold, it'll be fine. But they are rated to negative 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is really cold. The cells were designed to operate within the Chinese military up in the Siberian area where it's really, really, really damn cold all the time. So they do perform in that temperature, and they're not going to go catastrophic in that temperature. You will lose ability. They'll not be as good during that cold temperatures, but they'll still won't be a problem. Hopefully that answered your question. Franco Quaid said, "Hello, Red Pill. Smack that like button. Smack it. Stab it. Hit that thumb." You guys are awesome. Adrian said, "What's up, baseheads? Stu's Custom Shop. Evening. What's up, man? What headphones am I using?" Well, that's a good one. These are kind of jank, man. I don't know if you can see that or not. See that little PlayStation logo up there? These are actually PlayStation headphones. A friend of mine passed away a few years ago, and I ended up with a bunch of his random stuff and one of those things there was a couple of gaming headsets, and I had these headphones from him. These were his headphones, and he used them to play the Fortnite, and all that stuff. And I put them on, and they work pretty good for this stuff. And so yeah, that's what I'm using, a pair of old PlayStation something headphones. Uh, I think they're comfortable, and the sound is decent. So they're not like Beats bass loud, but the bass is decent. So yeah, it all gets down. Hopefully that answered that question. W said, "Good day, bros. Best audio on a budget. Sony explodes. Sony explodes. Sorted. Yeah, that's it, man. Anymore, all you're doing is find an antique, Sony explodes, man. Because I wish Sony would go ahead and come out with the explode line again. I think it was a really cool thing. The marketing was really good. I mean, make them a little better than what they made them, because they put the fake baskets on them and stuff. And why do that? Why nobody needs that? That made them look bad. I mean, just use the actual frame that's supposed to be there, and just make them look halfway decent and give them some nice color. I mean, it's a perfect Walmart sub, right? You give it a nice splash of color and make it loud and in your face, like the old Funky Pups, kind of thing. Um, make them lively, and then let Walmart sell them, because Walmart can push that kind of stuff no problem. I think it'd be an excellent moneymaker, and I'd like to see a good budget Sony product out there again with some flavor and some color to it. That'd be kind of cool. I dig it. I really, really would like to see that. That'd be neat. Stu said, and done. Franco Quaid. Yeah. P3s in a seal box. Yeah, they're actually. Well, I say they're designed for it. The all of the Rockford gear. I mean, like literally everything. They don't have anything anymore that I would consider really an SPL sub. Um, you can get some sound pressure out of it, but they're more SQ, which you wouldn't think Rockford would be making SQ products, but that's kind of where they're targeted at. They've kind of stagnated, as a lot of companies, in JL and Rockford and those guys. They kind of stagnated and they're not really pushing into the new stuff. Whereas Kicker, on the other hand, they got their finger on the pulse of what's happening right now, and they're innovating and they're making new products for everybody and what's going on. They're following the scene. And I think that's where Rockford and JL both kind of fall apart now, is because they're not. They're just sitting on their old tech and, recoloring it and stuff to kind of make it new, adding a button here or a switch there. Anyway, it is what it is. But I will say this, though: you get those P3s in the right enclosure, and they talk to you. They sound real good. El Fuego from the Pacific Northwest. What's up, man? The fire is in the house. Everybody understands that. Stu said, "Hey, El Fuego." G-Body Sparky Reloaded. What's up, man? You guys are awesome. Stu. I'm going down through the list looking for anything. Okay, here we go. El Fuego said, Stu's Custom Shop designed my Kicker Q15s, and it sounds absolutely pounds, baby, like a pound. Takes the pound to Pound Town. I'll go all the way down to Pound Town. W said, goodbye, G-Body. Let's see here. Hell yeah, man. You said Stu designed it. Good deal. El Fuego said, where am I at in SPL with the new subs and box upgrades plus the pole? I've seen over a 56 now. But my testing is limited. I haven't done much. I've been so busy. You guys will see what the hell I've been busy doing. There's a video coming. I have been neck deep in building enclosures for the last couple of weeks, man. Just people, and I got more shit coming. I'm out doing that stuff, and working with the guys from the team. And we're just getting it done, dude. It's been a very good social upgrade for me to have social interaction more consistently. And I know it's a scientific term for saying we're hanging out and building sub boxes, but yeah, it's been going real well, and I'm really pleased with it. I'm also expanding my skill set. It's been a long time since I designed and built sub enclosures. I did it back in the '90s quite a bit. I actually built for a lot of people and made money doing it. But it's been years since I really tackled any of that. So now I'm kind of doing that again. And yeah, that's what we're doing. Let's see here. But yeah, I busted a 156.2, I think, in the kick in the Tahoe, and I forgot what the frequency was, but I've got to find my frequency. I'm not quite nailed it. When I did the sweep test, I did it at like half power, and it consistently says 31 hertz. But I think when I did the SPL burp in the floor, I was on 36 hertz. So I don't know. I got to dig into that. I've just been really busy doing bass head stuff outside of my own vehicle. But yeah, it sounds real good. It gets loud. It gets windy as shit. I got my mids. I got my tweeters. I had my tweeters. I had to work on those some, and I got those squared away. And I got the doors playing really good, and I got them cranked up quite a bit. So now, if you open the doors up on the thing, it sounds like a nightclub. I mean, I'll tell you how hard it hit. So I was doing some testing and doing a little bumping in the garage under my carport, and the closet in my carport was where all of my stuff was sitting on these shelves in the closet. And there, the shelves, two of them, both completely collapsed, and all of my shit's in the floor in that closet. It's in a big pile from the base. That's that's intense, but that's how much vibration I was creating inside the carport. Yeah, it literally broke the shelves and they fell. I kind of it's like it's a mixed feeling about that though, because I'm like, damn, I got this huge mess to clean up, and it's a massive mess. But at the same time, I got the inner me grinning because I knocked the shit down with my Tahoe. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that. That's crazy. Let's see here. Andrew, hey, what's up, man? He said, oh, I hope so. He said that stuff that's on the screen right there. What would be a good system for a 1985 Cutlass G body from battery, amps, and subs? Oh man, 85 Cutlass G body. That's the mid size. That's like the Oldsmobile. Yeah, it's like a smaller. It looks like a smaller version of the Caprice Classic, kind of a squished version of the Caprice Classic. Man, there's a lot of ways to go with that. Trunk builds are always kind of they have their own thing. What I'll say about a trunk build is the first question you need to answer is what sound deadener am I going to use? Because that's the first question. And you want to use that really thick, heavy duty stuff on your whole trunk lid and on the panels inside the trunk on either side, and really reinforce the snot slinging crap out of that trunk with tons of sound deadener. Beyond that, I probably figuring on this pretty wide in there. It's got some room, and there's no blow through in that back seat. If I remember correctly, it doesn't lay down or anything. So I would probably take and I would probably sandwich the back shelf with 2 pieces of MDF, and then run using some P3, that PL3, and I would use that on both sides and sandwich it like a couple of half-inch layers of MDF, smush it together, and then run bolts through it, clamp it down, and then cut a couple of big holes back there in that back shelf, maybe one big long one. But you want to sandwich it and clamp it down and make it thick and hard with glue and wood, and then run your saw from underneath and cut that hole out. Cut you a big old long, kind of a much bigger than whatever port you're going to have. You want a pretty big hole, and so that you have a good pass through to get that stuff in there. And you might, at that point, sound deaden the trunk, drop in probably about six, that'd be so 215s. You might be able to do that. I would I would lean towards I would lean towards something like the version 2 SmackDowns, and I would do maybe a 15 or an 18, a single 15 or an 18, and then you could drop the 5K, the Shock 5K on that single sub, and that's going to generate a god awful lot of power back there. Um, and then on the doors, if you're wanting, it depends on what you're wanting. I mean, are you wanting volume, or are you more of an SQ kind of person? Because that's going to dictate how it would go there. If you want it to be just crazy loud and get down, which is probably what you got in mind, I would either run the 6.5s, or possibly I think you have 5.25 or something like that. You might consider using customspeakerpods.com, but I don't think they're going to have any pods for that. So you're probably going to use the stock doors. If you're going to do that, honestly, I would go with the Alpine Type R mids in the doors and the front doors, and then I would probably build a custom A-pillar setup for some extra tweeters. I would have the tweeters in the Alpine Type R's in the doors, and then I would use an extra set up on the A-pillars to get your soundstage up in the front. That's going to help project a lot when you've got your car out. If you're outside and you're doing stuff, you got it cranked up and you're wanting to blast it, having those A-pillars hot with the tweeters will really help the highs to get out into the parking lot. And then whenever you're sitting into it, listening to it, it's going to pull the sound stage up and give you more of a windshield than a floor kind of a feeling. That'd be a pretty good setup, but I would definitely run a DSP. And the B2 DSP is a go-to. It's go-to. I mean, it's $160, and that thing does everything that you need. It's a super good little product. I got one on the wall behind me. Every sound that makes on this computer goes through that DSP, and it saves me. I mean, it made it so much easier to get this whole system set up. And to power that whole thing, I power it all with Slapz amplifiers. I'd use the Mini 4s. I'd buy 2 Mini 4s because they're like $100 a piece. I'd buy 2 of those, and I would run run one as a 2-channel because they bridge. I'd run one as a 2-channel and put power on both the doors in the front. And then I'd run the other one with just 2 channels of the other one to the tweeters up in the A-pillars. And then later on, if you need to, you can break those out and split that sound up in different channels. But you can use them as a 2-channel or a 4-channel. They're so freaking cheap and they're so small and they're so efficient and they work so well. You just can't beat them. There's nothing else out there that gets close. So yeah, I would absolutely do that. That's a complete setup, mostly. Hopefully, I just went through the whole basic kit and caboodle. I will say, make sure you run a grounds. Make sure your grounds are hooked up and squared away from front to back, because an old car is going to have ground straps for different things, and they're going to be either gone or worn out. So make sure your grounds from front to back are solid. And sound deaden that trunk, like I said, go crazy with the sound deadener in that trunk. It needs to be it needs to be bulletproof because you're going to be dropping a ton of pressure in there and it's going to rattle everything. All right, moving on. Let's see here. That's the G body. Stu would be good with those. Hell yeah. What's up, man? Enrique. Wow, my brain just turned completely off on that one. What's up, man? I don't know why, but I could not pronounce that for nothing. Let's see here. G-Body, Bobby B's finally showed up. Got the Rona going back to bed. Oh, man, you suck, dude. Oh, I'm sorry. Life sucks for you, but you also suck. You're out there playing with them goats and got the Rona from the goats. That's what happened. But yeah, that Cutlass build, I built something similar to that. Mine was a 70s model, but it was a similar kind of a scenario. So I'd already dealt with that back deck and how to get that base out of the trunk. I really appreciate your help. And oh, that's Troy. Hold on. What's up, Troy? Really appreciate you helping me tune that Slapz 8K. I'm loving it. Hell yeah, dude. That's a good solid amplifier. Glad you showed up. G-Buddy said you do quality work to just start back getting into the box building. Yeah, well, I mean, I hadn't been doing it a whole lot, but I've been around a lot of it. So my brain is still fresh in the matter. I just haven't been doing a lot of designing. So I had to do some designing, and I'm going to probably do some more designing. But I appreciate the compliment, man, very much. You have no idea how much I appreciate that compliment, because it's a skill set that's not an easy skill set to be good at. It's like we were discussing how to charge people for boxes, and my response is that you charge by the hour. You figure out how many hours you're going to take to do it, and that's what you base your charge off of. And how much you make per hour is dictated by how much you're worth, right? How good is your work? How experienced are you? How proficient are you? So, and that's what I do. I look at a job and I go, how many hours is this going to take? And a good box is going to take me a couple of days. It's going to be a couple of full days to do it, because I mean I'm not super efficient, but at the same time I can't charge people because I'm slow. I gotta be reasonable about it. So I have 15, 20, 30 bucks an hour is pretty reasonable. That's kind of what I'd go for, something like that. Right now, Chris does most of the work. I am there strictly to instruct and also to help with work. So he's doing most of the work. So, he's going to get most of the money if we do any of that. But what of the stuff we've done up to this point has just been for teammates, and we're just having fun, man. We're just doing base stuff, staying active, and doing good, clean, honest work, and loving life, man. That's what it's all about for me. I mean, it's just loving life, dude. Loving life. Find a thing in life that you enjoy doing, and then just do it a lot of it. That's how you make yourself good. So, Fuego said, "Get well, Bobby." Let's see here. The 2-door. Oh yeah. My buddy had that basic car. It had a 260 V8 in it, and it was weak as hell, dude. It was pathetic. The engine was just weak, but man, did it sound good. Oh my God, it sounded good. We put 2 glass packs in that thing, and then dumped the exhaust out right in front of the back wheel, turned it so that it dumped out right in front of the back wheel, NASCAR style. And when you got on that thing and lit that exhaust up, man, that thing sounded like it was absolutely awesome. It was pretty generic as far as a V8 goes, but boy, it sounded like it had all kinds of badness in it. Loved the way that car sounded. One of the best sounding cars I've ever heard. And it had a fairly weak motor. Let's see here. Yeah, the DSP. Yep, you're on top of it. We've already talked. He already knows. You guys show up at my house and ask me questions. I'm going to give you honest answers. That's what I always do. I do my best to be honest about everything. And in that particular build he was talking about with the Oldsmobile, I did not recommend Slapz audio speakers, because I feel like the Alpine Type R is more suited for what he's doing. Straight up. And I get nothing from Alpine, but that's still my recommendation. In that particular situation, that's what I recommend. You're going to need to sound deaden them doors too, by the way. That's going to be a thing. And you're going to want to order door panel clips before you take the door panels off. Get you a bag of them, because you're going to break them. And you're going to want to replace every single one. Rob Richards, I just hit a 157.2. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, on music 2 days ago. I put a stripper pole in today, inspired by me. I used part of a torsion bar for my pole, solid steel. Hey, yeah, baby, that works really good. I went with wood for a multitude of reasons. Getting something done, and for one, I have no welding. I have very limited welding experience. I don't have a welder, and also metal is heavy. And for me, I have issues with, lifting and manipulating objects. So I wanted something that I could put in and take out as I needed to, because I have to remove the pole to be able to get in there to load the subs. So I wanted a removable pole, and I built that. I built the thing that I needed, and I built it out of a material that worked for me. That said, anything that's whenever you think of a pole, so it's all about angles. My angle is not optimal. The optimal angle is going out and connecting right where the windshield connects with the roof, because that is the weakest point. Okay. But that requires that your pole be, kind of out in the middle of your business. And also that would have messed up my center console. So I went back a little bit and caught the roof. But mind you, I do have a lot of plywood on my roof already. So I'm bracing the plywood. I'm allowing the plywood's strength to kind of help catch that spot. And I built it the way I needed to build it for my personal situations, all of my personal reasons. That said, the optimal way to build it would be to run it from a wedge point that it can't move on the floor, whatever that is, mounted to something that's very, very, very solid, and then run it right to the point to where the windshield and the roof connect, and to use the stiffest, strongest material that you can. That's the optimal way. But does that always work for everybody? No. Another way to do it's kind of like the cop shotgun. You know where that's at? You can do a pole mounted straight down below that point and come straight up to that point. That works pretty good too. But you think about the way it flexes like this, right? So to fight that the best way you can, you need that angle of the flex to be the same angle. Well, I'm not doing this right on the camera. So if it's flexing like this, this is the windshield and the roof, the angle that it's flexing is the right angle for the brace. That's perfect, okay? That way you're just using the compressive factors of the pole, not any shear factors. Now with me and my wooden brace, I'm actually, the wooden brace is kind of wanting to do this. It doesn't, but it's wanting to. It's wanting to shear. It's wanting to bow. If it was dead straight where the pressure was being applied, it would stay stiff because it's very good in compression. But having the pressure kind of twist on it, it kind of wants to bow a little bit. So that's what it's trying to do. It's trying to bow. And ideally, you want to get rid of all those potential movements and just get it down to where you're using the most efficient material in the most efficient way. I could go on forever about this, but you guys, I'm sure, are keeping up with this, and you kind of got the idea. Joe said, my boy asked me to put a radio on his go-kart. Sir, that is like, stop it right there. That right there is the proudest moment a basehead dad could ever have. When your kid wanders up and says, Dad, put a radio on my go-kart. Dude, I would cry. I would straight up break out in tears. That's the most awesome thing ever. Oh, man. I have installed an electric starter and a battery on it, but it only charges at 12.9. So what kind of battery do you think can generate the U1 AGM size? Let me read through this again. Only charged at 12.9. So what kind of battery you think I can, the U1 AGM size? To carry a very small system, it's like you could throw money at it, and I would say put a banger 5K on it. That would be the money shot, but I don't think you need that much power to do what you're doing. You're probably going to be doing less than 100 watts total system power, maybe 200 watts output at any point in time. Using you can order there's a whole lot of options, but I'll throw a few of them out there. You can order they make a lithium version of a Zelle for scooters, for mobility scooters. And you have to look at the prices and figure out which one's going to work for you. They're not going to be super big amp hours. They're not going to be super high current, but they're going to be lighter than AGM and probably smaller than AGM. They may be the same size. They're going to be lighter, significantly lighter, and you'll be able to get quite a bit of power out of them. I don't know what the prices will look like. Then there's also mobility scooter AGM batteries, which are a great source too, because they're designed for deep charge and deep discharge. They handle that pretty well. And they're also relatively small. You could use motorcycle batteries or a battery designed for like a four-wheeler or a small off-road device like that. They have lithium versions of those. They do charge at 12 volts, and they would run a radio. Like if you just used a radio and the amplifier built into the radio to power everything, that would be totally fine. So yeah, hopefully that helped you a little bit. But if you're going to be charging something up and then putting it in and letting it just run off the battery, you might want to look into a little bit more storage than the motorcycle style battery. Anyway, hopefully that answered your question. Not 100% sure of what exactly you were asking with the U1 AGM thing, but yeah, I gave you some ideas. Stu said, "I'm back. El Fuego, fantastic show. Good night, fellas. You have a good night, El Fuego. It's nice seeing you, buddy. Glad you showed up." Let's see here. Night, El Fuego, El Fuego, El Fuego, El Fuego. So I'm going to leave that up there. You guys want to chime in and throw in some extra ideas for that? I would love to see that happen. My community is so solid in the fact that they always want to help people. And man, I've still got freaking MDF dust all over me, guys. I got it in my eyebrows, my beard, it's everywhere. And I haven't eaten anything today yet. He said, "Thank you." He's done on his phone looking them up. Yep. That's a good start. The motorcycle batteries are going to be, the motorcycle lithium is going to be the best for a low powered setup. It's going to give you 12 volts and give you super lightweight and small package. And that's kind of what you want. But they're not going to be the cheapest. They're probably not going to be super cheap. But the mobility scooter ones are going to be bigger and have more power, but they're going to be a little heavier too. So it's up to you how you do it. Me personally, I think I would probably, if I was going with just a radio, I'd probably run the motorcycle batteries. If you've got an alternator of some kind that's charging, a generator that's charging, they'll work just fine. And they'll be super light, and they're designed for that kind of activity. So be a good solution. It's up to you, man. There's a whole lot of options. You could also build your own stuff, but the thing I would be thinking about is, what is this thing likely to do? It's likely to get smashed into stuff. It's likely to get, slammed around. It's going to sit out in the rain. It's going to have a life, And so I'm thinking about all that stuff whenever I'm making recommendations. Keep in mind, there's also some nice kits for motorcycle radios. Now, anything that has motorcycle in front of it is going to add an extra $100 to it, no matter what it is. But you can get on Amazon and find them. There are some little dash kits for motorcycles and for Jeeps and for outdoor vehicles that have a cool little faceplate that comes down and covers the radio so it stays dry. I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but, just throwing that out there. Stu said there's a ton of options for that sort of setup. Sound bars, yeah, that's a good one. Exactly. Those don't pull a ton of current from them out. Absolutely. It's great sound. I mean, if he wants like a dash radio, like that's one thing. But if he just wants music or sound from it, then a little, 2 or 3 foot, whatever, little 2 foot sound bar in the front would work, that would work. Put it up on a row bar. I know he's got a row bar, so put the thing right up there on the row bar. Yeah, that would rock out, dude. And then, of course, you could get one that's got a Bluetooth setup so where you can just Bluetooth from a phone or whatever and play through it like a big old huge Bluetooth speaker. That'd work perfect, man. Let's see here. What did he say? Rob said, "Bro, your build is killing it. You're going to get louder. You still have oh yeah. Yeah, I've got my goal. One of our teammates, he hit a 158, and he's hitting 61s and shit. My goal is to be in there kind of in his area as far as my volume goes. So I'm kind of wanting to see like a 57 or a 58 is where I'm wanting to be. I think that's a real good number for demoing. Anything from like a 50, like a 50 and up, really is going to be a good demo. But I'm getting close to that area where I'd like to be. I know I got a 57 in it, and then a 58 is going to be stretching it. But I think that's kind of what I'd like to see as a 58 before it's all said and done. So hopefully we make it there. If not, it's no big deal. I'm not trying to chase a number, not specifically, and I'm not a big competitor. I will compete at shows just to make the field thicker. But I usually only compete in like one class. Mostly I sit out there and annoy people with extremely loud stuff going on constantly. That's how I roll. That's my one chance where I can crank the system and everybody can kiss my ass. Let's see here. Hostile Harris is under the roll bar. Yeah, man. I'd have to see the thing. See, the way my brain works is I like to look at it. I got to look at it, and then I can start crunching and figuring out what can go where. Like they have these outdoor speakers that are designed to be mounted on a bar. Like Kicker has them, the little pods, that go on boats and shit. That it's just a pod with a speaker in it, and then you mount it on a bar. Something like that could be a thing, and you might consider doing that because they'd be lit up and lights on the thing is good. It makes people see him, if he's out doing something stupid, which he probably will be, more visible to oncoming traffic and what's not, some cars and people riding bicycles. Makes them more visible with some light up speakers on there. So things like that. I look at all those kind of angles and I just sort of work my way through it to figure out how to do that. And powering it, you want something that's tough. It needs to be very, very bulletproof batteries and all that. We don't want any accidents, but it's a go-kart, so there's always that. Stu said, my goal is just to have enough clean volume to drown out the road noise. Yeah, that's kind of the SQL kind of a thinking. But no, I want to create my own road noise. I want people to be scared to pass me. I want bass fear echoing across the freaking asphalt when I'm flying down the road. But yeah. Wilbo, so that's why I always sit next to your Tahoe. Yeah, it's going to get down, dude. If you're not wanting to, when I'm at a show, if you're not wanting to hear the loud, you better not park close to me because I demo from the time the show starts to the end, and back to back over and over. The people coming, it's a thing. I very rarely get out and roam around for very long. I usually do my roaming in the very first part of the show, the early part. I try to go around and get some footage of other people's because once they start hearing my shit play, I get people coming over, and then the crowd keeps tipping and they keep bringing more people. They that tip, that's what the carnies called it, a tip. So yeah, all the joint. Now, see, I'm going to tell you that story. So if you look at the way the carnival sets up their games, if you look down the side, you can see they're all perfectly in line with each other. The front of those joints are all lined up, dead nuts, perfect. And that's so that none of them have an advantage whenever it comes to pulling marks in, which is people that play the games. You'll watch the awnings will even be restricted to a certain length. So they're all pretty much identical. And what happens is if you get a group of people in front of your game playing it, then when someone looks over there and thinks about going to play the game, they see that group of people sticking out, and that's where they go. We call that a tip. So what you want to do is build up a tip in front of your joint, right? You do that by throwing a piece, giving away something, letting somebody win, getting a little noise started, getting the crowd start piling up, and you have a tip. And now you're sticking out away from everybody else, and everybody comes to your game. That's how you make money as a carny. And I did that for 2 years. Pretty cool. I recommend it for every freaking body because it's a really cool experience. But yeah, I don't know why I got to the tip, but I did. I went there. How do I track down SPL shows in my area? My team. So I have multiple different things that happens. I got friends in the car audio business, as in Carmel Car Audio in Springfield, Missouri, and he has shows. And I know I just call him up or I hit him up with a messenger, say, "Hey man, when's their next show?" He tells me. That's one thing. And then I have my team, and the team is going to post shows all the time. They talk about shows that are around the area and what's happening in town, and they keep me up to date on when shows are going to be happening with my team. So find a good car audio team in your area, and that's going to help you in lots and lots of ways. And I'm running the team Savage Sounds right now, and we're all doing really well. I'm enjoying it, and we're having a lot of fun. They're good people. And then, of course, there's the SPL. You can go to the websites and, like, for Midwest SPL or for ISAC or whatever, those are Base Wars. You can go to their website and then it'll tell you about the list of where they're going to be and when, what shows are going to be happening. And alternatively, you can get to know the Base Wars Midwest SPL person that covers your area, and you can get a list from them of all the stuff they're going to be going to. And pick out stuff that's in the area. Those are the best ways to do it. There's kind of a lot of them, and I use a little bit of all of that. Stu said, I'm definitely on the ASQ side of things. I plan to choose my subs based on what will pair best with my bid base. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But Stu, being a man of the cloth and a box builder, is well aware that pairing to your mid bass is more about the box design than the actual subwoofer. So if you've got a mid bass that that plays well down in the dirt, down at 60 hertz or whatever, then you can tune a box to play a little lower. You can take advantage of that, tune that box to be able to get down into the 20s, and you'll still be able to pick it up with the sub. But it's not about so much the sub enclosure, the sub woofer itself. It's more about the enclosure that you can put there, and how it's tuned is going to match up with the current mid bass. But yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Now, of course, there's layers to that, because you can't just put any sub in even the best box and get it to do the things that you want to do. Some subwoofers are going to be more geared towards playing in frequency ranges that you're trying to do, and also geared towards the kind of box that you need to build to play that frequency range. So there's layers and layers and layers of knowledge that are required to get something to work really well. There's so many different things that you have to learn. It's so complicated and it's so layered. You need to know a lot about a lot of stuff to do that very well. I sent you a video of him riding it. Cool. To show the room I have to play with. It's a homemade cart. Oh, that's even better. Homemade carts. Well, let's see if I can. Okay. Y'all want to see this video? Should I pull this up? I should. I really should. I'm sure Joe's okay with it. Hopefully I don't botch this, because I am so good at messing this up. Let's see here. Screen. Entire screen. Let me get this pulled up. Oh, yeah. It's going to work real good. Okay. And we'll do the system audio. I'm probably going to go quiet, so bear with me. I'll get it fixed. Share. Why won't it let me? Oh, I hadn't picked one. There we go. Ooh. Okay, it looks like we got sound on me at least. So that'll have to work. There's no sound on the video, so let's check it out, guys. See what's going on here. All right, he has no roll bar. You're going to get fired for that, He's having fun. That thing's got tons of power. The gearing's a little low, but you want it to go slow, I guess. You don't want high-speed collisions or whatnot. I saw there was a second little part to that. Let me see if I can pull that up. There's a shot of the motor and the current battery back there. Okay. That will get it done. Oh, ever start with the tabs on it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You could build onto that, but I don't mean honestly. That battery is going to be plenty to supply the power to what you're doing with that. If I'm being honest, um, let's see here. Let me pull y'all back up. You're hiding over there, hiding to the side. Um, we'll get some conversation going. I'm going to let that play there for a minute. Figure out where I'm at on the thingamajigger bar. Okay. Yep. I'm caught up now. I'm getting there. Definitely on the SQ side. Yeah. Sent you a video. Wilbo said drop down menu, then Facebook calendar. Yeah, that's a start, man. That's a start. Um, so yeah, with that setup, I would probably I'd probably go with the pods, like a couple of pods. I'll have to. I mean, it's not the best visual of what I need to know because it's like he's riding around the yard. He's way out yonder. But you might consider, where you have the triangle for the steering to go through that hoop that goes like this. A couple of pods, one mounted on either side of that, blasting straight toward the face. That's kind of a thing, man. I think that would be a good choice. Um, and then you could build a tiny little sub enclosure back there and put like a 6 or something in it, and get a little bit of bottom end, but your pods will probably carry it pretty good. Pretty good range of sound comes out of those. I definitely would avoid Kicker because they're going to be really expensive. Uh, but you might look into Hayanka. Hayanka actually makes a pretty good marine line, and I'm using a set of Hayanka 6.5 marine speakers in here right now. They sound stupid good and they light up, and they're like $60 a set for these 6.5s. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine anything, how you're going to beat that, right? You would just need a pod. So you'd hit up Amazon and look for some 6.5-inch pods for marine use or for something like that. And then the mounting hardware on them and just mount them to the bars. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Um, so hopefully that was helpful. Got to have some tunes on it. Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm down with that. Um, yep. Stu said, I'm thinking some cans on the front between the wheels. Yep. That's that. Those little pods are really go-to things. I was going to put a pair of those in my big truck on the ground. The entry bars, two big long entry bars. I never did it. I ended up putting some computer speakers up there and putting some big ass hose clamps on it to hold the computer speaker to the bar. But this was not an outside thing. And I had them like that for several years. They sounded really, really stupid good. It is an option, but it's not weather resistant. These things would not handle weather at all. At all. But they do sound good. And it'd be really cheap. I ran them for years. I just took I plugged the computer speaker setup in there, clamped one to each bar, and then I put the subwoofer enclosure in the passenger floorboard, and then plugged it into my power supply. It was a regular 110, and I just ran the little aux cord into my phone. Bob's your uncle. I had freaking amazing sound in there, and that really, really sounded good in there. Everyone that ever heard it was like, "Wow." Yeah, I hated the stereo in the truck, so I just made my own. I ended up adding more to it later, but I ran like that for a long time, and it was removable. I could move from truck to truck. It was pretty cool. Wilbo said, go with speakers made for boats. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Marines, the Marines would be the thing. Yeah. Yeah, we are definitely all in agreement. So subwoofer enclosures. So we were talking when I was whipping up this design for this thing. Hang on a second. I can actually add some. Oh, I can't see nothing. I'm blinded by the light. Oh, that's awesome. We got Andy Griffith playing. I watch Andy Griffith crap all the time. I'm always watching Andy Griffith videos. Friggin' Facebook loves to send me Andy Griffith shorts because I'm watching them constantly. I know. I'm an old dude. Um, I am an old dude. Bear with me a second. I'm going to pull something up. I have a couple of pictures I can pull up. Oh, no. Oh, wow. Okay, that's not good. I don't know what that is, but it looks like a bunch of my buddy sends me weird stuff. Yeah. So okay, yeah, that'll have to do. We'll just try that. So if you see this picture here, this is using the box designer to get the basic, figuring the basic thing out. And I went to Rockford. This is, well, I've actually still got the box design. Let me see. I think it's open on here. No, it's not there. This is one. Okay, this will work. This is probably better because I can move it around. This is basically what I built in the end, was this guy right here. And I was going to use a 6-inch port, but I didn't have any 6-inch pipe, so I redesigned it with two 4-inch ports. And that worked really good. I got the length on them perfect, and it literally ended up building exactly this. The only thing that's different from this picture from what I built was where it's got the top being 17.91 versus basically 18 inches. I built it 21 inches long, which added a little bit more airspace inside. But other than that, this is identical to that box. And so the things I was thinking about when I designed this, and by the way, the ports are on this side. Okay. So the things I was thinking about was, number one, I wanted to have the baffle small enough to where it wouldn't be any flex issues. And also the amount of space we had to work with was very limited on this vertical plane. We had a hell of a time getting it in there, but we did get it in there. It required some serious grunting, though, let me tell you. So my limitation was height. I could have went a lot wider, but I wanted to keep the amount of space that from the sides of the subs. I wanted them to be very, very firm. The only real weakness in this would be this area right here. And it's not terrible. And we're only dealing with two fairly lightweight 12s, so it was fine. I could have done a little brace. I thought about it. That would have went from like up in here somewhere and went down at an angle and hit the floor to add a little bit of bracing. Did not do that, but I could have. And I thought about it. I could have done a dowel rod. My ports are not this far apart. They're closer together. All right. So there's not quite enough room for the dowel to go between the two ports and the one I built. I looked at it and it was really close. I could have shaved it down. I could have done that also. That would have been a nice setup. I don't think we're going to have any problems with this flexing though, because of the amount of power that these things can do. But I had to think about that. I had to think about the constrictions in the trunk and the space I had to work with. And there was this is the biggest box you can put in that trunk. It literally, anything bigger than this, and you're not going to be able to put the seat up and close the trunk at the same time. It's just as big as it'll fit once you get everything configured. One other thing I could have done was built this at an angle back here, which would have made it a little bit more space efficient. I could have put like maybe a 22-degree angle or something on that. Didn't really need to, but could have. But you're thinking about all these different things. Now, where do I want the subs to fire? I wanted the subs to fire towards the end of the trunk. I wanted to get the longest possible bass note, the longest sound wave I could get. So I wanted to bounce the sound off the sub to the back wall here and then have it come back. So instead of having the subs mounted here, right, you would have shortened your sound wave considerably. When you mount them here, now you've lengthened it that much, right? And then you're also bouncing off the wall. So instead of getting the sound from here to your ear, from this point, you're getting the sound from here to the wall and then back to your ear, which means you've doubled your length of the bass note that you can get mature before it gets to your ear. That's why the box always plays lows better when it's firing toward the back. Now, the other part of this is Like I said, my pipes are on this side. So you can figure that however you want to. But the reason for that is because this is the driver's side over here, right? And if you put a meter in the car, it's going to be up here on the passenger side, up on the windshield. So having the tubes, the base tubes, play into this corner over here and load into this corner is going to increase the base output. Plus, it's going to create that long distance from here, this loading area, back to up here where the meter is going to be, and allow that meter to pressure better. So while I'm giving him good nasty lows and good sound, I'm also going to give the subs a little help in trying to get a better score on the meter by putting the port on the opposite corner of the car than the meter. So there's lots and lots and lots of things that go into these designs. I just wanted to touch on a few of those. Let's see what you guys are talking about over here. And I'll show you. I'm just explaining why I make certain decisions and why I did things a certain way. Let's see here. Joseph said, "Thank you all. I'll be looking into all of it." He just allowed me a vote. He just showed me a boat radio kit. Yeah. They exist. If you put an actual radio in, my opinion, I would put him. I'd put him something in there with like a bass knob up front, turn it up and down, and that'd be kind of what I'd do. I'd do it like maybe a 5. I don't know exactly, but I'd put something in that has a little bass knob, and mount that bass knob up there in the front, and then have it control all the volume for the whole system. That's what I'd be trying to figure out a way to do. Put some flashing lights on that thing. Underground Car Audio. What's up, my friend? Nice to see you tonight. I'm in Texas. Hell yeah. Great show. Keep it real, man. I appreciate it. Stu said, I just finished up a box for a regular cab F-150 for a pair of Kicker Comp R12s with passive radiators. Oh, yeah. That's straight up how Kicker used to do it, man. That's where Kicker came from. I mean, if you guys don't know, Kicker was a company called Stillwater Designs. They designed a truck box that would fit in behind the seat of a truck, in a slim truck box. And they put a passive radiator in it. And that truck box with that radiator and that speaker was called an ass kicker by Stillwater Designs. Later, it got adjusted to butt kicker because obvious reasons. And then at some point, the name of the company just became Kicker. So it all started with that slim box with a passive radiator, which is exactly what he built. And if you're going to build a passive radiator slim box with a tight space, there's only a couple of different subs out there that I'd be interested in using. And Kicker subs are definitely one of them. The large cone area, the extra 20% cone area, the square subs. The other one would be the JLW3 or the JLW5, the thins. They may not do a lot of stuff well, but they build the best thin subwoofer, period. Like nobody else is even close. To this day, they still make the best sounding, best performing thin subwoofer on the market. So yeah. Going to shoot me a video, you say, Stu? Hang on a minute. See if I can procure. See if it's popped up here. Okay, I see it. Yeah. Okay, give me a second. Let's pull that up. Let's check it out. We're going to check it out. Let's check it out. All right. We're checking it. Here we go. Get it. Look at that. Oh, I like that, guys. So that's nice. We got the holes in the bracing to allow. So we've got a sub and a radiator and a sub and a radiator. I'm guessing that's how this is configured. Well, maybe the subs are in the middle. I don't know, but he's got a speaker and a radiator in each chamber in the separate chambers. And then he's got the little holes, speed holes in there for that pressure to move between chambers. He's also wrapped this in vinyl and done some beautiful detail work on this thing. It's stunning. That is gorgeous, y'all. If you're interested in getting a hookup like this, you're going to need to talk to Stu. It's Stu's Custom Shop, man. He's definitely putting it on and he's got the tools laid out over there. He's got a router. He's got a couple of routers. This guy's got all the cool stuff. All the cool stuff. But I love the accents. And that's like a felt kind of a thing. Maybe a leather pleather. I'm not sure what it is, but it's fuzzy looking. I love the contrast of the textures and the red and black and the seam over here where everything is lined up. That looks real good, Stu. Yeah, that's tight, man. That's actually a hard corner to wrap too. And that's hard to wrap that. And it's hard to wrap this down here. You got some good vinyl if you're getting it to look that good. Using some good vinyl, the good stuff. Appreciate that, Stu. Let's see what else we got going over here. He's knocking it out of the park, y'all, just so you know. As always. Let's see. Go through, there it is right there. And Hostile Hair. Yeah, it looks real nice, man. It looks real nice. I'd like to see it with the equipment in it too. Said ZK102T Bluetooth amp, 2-channel, 200 watts in a waterproof little box. Yeah, rock on, dude. Absolutely. That would work. If you're going to build a waterproof box, look into Tupperware. Think about what's already waterproof, like PVC pipe, for example, is waterproof already. Put a plug in the end and to create something where you can screw the speakers in, a little wood plug that fits in the end and glue it in place with some PL3. And then you can screw the speakers into it. That'd make a real nice little bass cannon. You could use stuff like that. Get creative, but use materials that already exist, man. Look into, different types of things. Like I said, Tupperware. Look at things that are already made that are waterproof and that they're going to, you might be able to re-engineer them into doing the job. Yep, absolutely. Hostile Hair. Hostile Hair says, Stu, have you installed my any CompQ subs? How do you like them? I've ran I had two 12-inch. No, I took that. Yeah, I had two 12-inch CompQ subs. They're clean and linear and do the job quite well. Let's see here. I almost bought some, but ended up with the MVXW or VCW numbers. I needed more lows and more power. And honestly, dude, that's my way of thinking. What he's saying right here is my way of thinking. I mean, I buy the equipment that does the job, Not every, the name brand is honestly one of the last things I even think about. And it's only for the customer support and the company, how well the company's going to take care of you. The equipment itself is you buy it by spec. When someone says, "Oh, what do you think about Alpine subs?" I'm like, "Which one and for what?" There's questions. I have questions, a lot of questions. Why are you restricting yourself to a brand? Because honestly, there's all kinds of stuff out there. There's applications for Hyanka subs. There's applications for, freaking big, huge, expensive, high pressure SPL subs. But it doesn't matter the brand. It's the sub, pick the driver that's going to do the job. And Kirk D, what's up, man? Nice to see you. Yeah, I agree, W. That box does look really good. That's a good looking box. Got to drive north. What? Got to drive. Okay. Got to drive to North Mississippi. Is that what I'm looking at? Yeah, Mississippi. If you're in North Mississippi, you're not too damn far away, down about to Memphis. But I don't know, man. I could be wrong. My brain doesn't work too well. Mississippi, I think, is what that is. There's some crazy people down there. Some good builders down there too. I've known quite a few of them. Uh, let's see. Stu says, so Debbie said, worth it for that build. Yeah, man, no kidding. That's the jam right there. Oh, you got some finished pics? Oh, let me go back and see what I found over here. They're not here. I don't see them. I don't see them right now. I can't see. The dragon's going to eat your brain. Roll the dice. Roll the dice. Freaking retards. Uh, oh, yeah. Paint splatter, he says. Let's see here. W probably tired of seeing that box already. Yeah, well, it happens. But he said he loves it. That box, what do you say? Hold on. Yeah, it's dividing buttons and stuff and smashing switches. That box got me thinking about that gray option I mentioned last night. Oh, the gray. Oh, the gray option's always the option. Yeah, see, that's the thing. So I was talking about this today. It's like, it doesn't, it's none of this stuff makes the box sound better. None of it makes it sound better. You can throw together something that looks like complete garbage and make it sound good. But here's the thing. If you're taking the time to, first of all, making it look good is going to make your work look better. It's going to represent you. You want to represent yourself properly. You want to put your best foot forward, as they say. Because when somebody looks in that box, they're going to go, ooh, who built that? That's nice. And if they say, well, Stu built that. Cool, Stu built that. Let me go talk to Stu. On the other hand, it could sound amazing. And somebody looks at it and goes, man, that's like shit. Who built that? Stu. Well, I ain't going to go to that guy that built boxes. It looks like shit. People don't buy with their ears. They buy with their eyes. But that's not the point. The point is it represents you. It's you. It's your representation in somebody's vehicle. And you got to be proud and take pride in what you do. Make it look as best as you can because that represents you. And if you're not proud of your work and take pride in your work and do it the best way, we know that's how you are as a person. It's just representation of the person. So I'm all about it, man. Clean it up. Make it look good. Make it look as good as you can within reason because you're limited. Maybe your skills or tools or whatever, but do the best you can to make it look good because that's representing you. That's my thing. W said paint splatter. Yeah, I don't. I've never got into paint splatter. Paint splatter scene. It works, but if you're going to do paint splatter, okay. It just requires that you go this route. You get your paint, get some nice light colored paints like yellow, like sunshine yellow, bright green, maybe some hot pink or something, red, orange, Dayglow orange, safety yellow, shit like that. And then get some paint that is UV reactive and mix it with that paint. So you get UV reactive paint and then drop in a UV light in your build. That way, all of that paint splatter just glows, right? And also theme it. Like, let's say you wanted to do a paint splatter theme in there. What could you do? You could do Jason, right? You could have the Jason mask, machete, and then you could have the paint splatter like going in a certain direction so it looks like it's been a slaughter scene happen. Maybe have some handprints grabbing to the side of something. Shit like that, and then use the UV. Make it a theme. Roll with it. Build on top of that. Don't just splatter it and say it's good. Come on, man. Use some creativity. There's easy ways to tie that in and make it cool. You could do the thing I was thinking about doing where you have the port, right? And the port's got like paint pouring out of it, like green paint pouring out of it with UV in it. And you got a UV light on it. It looks like some kind of slime or something's coming out of your port. Be creative with that stuff. Don't just, splatter it and call it good. Make it a theme behind it, put some thought into it. That's the way I look at it. I am definitely no expert. But that's just how my brain works. Let's see here. Stu said it's not finished yet. Okay, cool. I want to see them. Send me the pics. I want to see them. What's up, Kick Dude? You guys are so cool. I was thinking of matching OME gray panels by painting the floor and the box the same color. The only problem with that is if the color is not a perfect match, it won't be right. If you can't match the color perfectly, don't even try to get close. Go with the contrasting color, because there's nothing more visually messed up than looking at two colors that are supposed to be the same, but they're not quite the same. That drives me batshit crazy. Don't get too, you get into that gray area. You either got to contrast it a little bit and break away from it, or get a perfect match. And the texture, not just the color, but the texture has to match too, or the color will look wrong. For example, a panel that's flat and smooth, painted with the same exact color as a panel with lots of texture on it, are going to be two different colors to your eye. Even though they're identical colors, they're not going to look the same. So if you're going to do that, you got to match the texture and the paint. And I said, stay away from that shit, because it's a rabbit hole that you're going to live in for a long time. Go with the contrasting color. Usually look at a color wheel, figure out what the color is, pick the opposite color of the color wheel. It's a really good place to start. Black, white, so forth and so on. Let's see here. I was thinking of, yeah, that was the matching OME thing. Let's see. Joseph, what's Joseph saying? Be ordering the SmackDown 15s for the Kia for the new flat wall. Yeah, baby. Still be running 415s on stock 8K on shock 8Ks for now. Solid, dude. I mean, and I need to at some point. I mean, I don't know where my life is going, because everything is built around that. I've got things happening in my life that's changing my finances, sometimes for the positive, sometimes for the negative. And also my ability to do things. So I have to figure all those things in. Am I going to have help to do things? Because putting 50-pound subs at a flat wall is a pain in the ass. But the SmackDowns are even heavier, and they are godly subs. They really are good subs. But do I want to? Well, part of me always wants to. I mean, who doesn't want to? A base head never has there's never an end. But I have to keep in mind that, I'm a human being, and I'm a broken human being. So I'm limited on what kind of stuff I can actually pull off. Can I afford to get them? I can figure that out. Yeah. That's a thing. I can figure that out. Save up for them. Put a little, buy them one at a time, stack them, and all that stuff. I could do that. The question is, can I handle loading and unloading and all that stuff? There's so many things, but I'm going to tell you, dude, the Oblivion version 2s are stupid, nasty subs. They are freaking awesome. They are awesome subs. I mean, I'm giving them power now. They're getting all the power they want. But son, right now I'm limited to my box. That's what I'm limited. If I was running a 6th order, I'd be several dB louder just off of those. No problem. But I do like my flat wall, and I don't want to go into building another box. Building another box is a good solid $1,000 worth of material. Building a 6th order for that thing. And months of work. And so, yeah, I'm good with what I'm doing. I'm going to probably run this setup for the next season. At the end of the next season, once I've maxed out what I can get out of these 415s on this flat wall, next year, I may consider doing a 6th order again and going that route. So, okay. Josh is trying to hit up my trying to get on the show. Let me send him a message here real quick. As I'm live, I wanted to let him know I'm live. Anyway, he's a guy we just built a box for his car with the Rockfords in it. And he's messaged me wanting to know what my channel name was. Like I said, he's a new guy. And we're working a lot with these guys over. They're basically, it's a lot of recovering people. They're recovering from different bad life choices. And so I'm getting involved with that whole group of people. And they're some of the most amazing people because they've already train wrecked, right? They've already hit the wall, and they're bounced back from it. They had to reevaluate themselves and their lives, and they're really solid people. I mean, they're just good people. They got their shit together. People that haven't had a train wreck yet are going down the tracks, and they're not really paying attention to what they're doing sometimes. And they may not be the easiest people to get along with, but somebody has already hit rock bottom and pulled up from it. That's a pretty amazing person. They got a lot of good things going on in their life. And these are some wonderful people, and I'm getting to know them, and I'm having a lot of fun with them. So we'll continue on. W said mine is the pink aqua splatter on black. I got you. That's not a bad combo. I'm more of a safety orange, red, yellow kind of guy. I think the safety orange is my favorite, though. That real freaking bright in your face orange. I really like that color. If I'm going with stupid bright in your face colors, I'm more of a safety orange kind of guy. Just a really cool color. And red's always a win, but safety orange kind of plays into the same category as the red, with just a little bit more funk. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more. Yeah, ho, get down, woo, woo. Michael Jackson grabbing his junk and stuff. Got a little more pump in it. I was doing James Brown, and that's my best instant James Brown. After moving into the house, gotcha. Let's see here. I'm fiddling those smackdowns. Yeah, I know, right? Dude, they're serious subs. Ninja Turtle build. Hey, that would be cool. Could do a Ninja Turtle build. So how do you theme everything in? I mean, you could put Ninja Turtles everywhere, but that's the easy way out. You got to look at the theme. So you got to start the build with the theme in mind. It's like you got the turtle shells, you got the pizza, you got the machetes, the crossing swords. That could be speaker grills. Think about all that kind of stuff, right? Because whenever you start in a theme and coming up with a theme for a build, think about all the little stuff and how you could tie those themes in before you ever start to build up on top of that theme and carry it forward. And then when you add the paint job at the end, they'll see that right away. But then whenever they start looking around, they'll notice the other little things that make it, that really bring the theme to life. But yeah, I'm down with some Ninja Turtle subs, man. That'd be cool. Ninja Turtles. You could always order custom dust caps and stuff like that too, and do whatever with them, depending on what you're trying to do. Kick D said my teammate literally just built a box like I described. Really? Like the one that I showed you guys over here that I built? Let's see. That's awesome. Why has the seat got white splatters on it when the UV shines, though? That's because somebody got really based out and got excited, and their excitement just kind of expanded all over the vehicle. Hey, look, let me show you guys. Hold on. So I can see that's the white one. There we go. There's a UV light. That's UV. Y'all see any white splatters? Let's see what's on me. This tells the stories. I look clean, man, except for the subwoofer dust. Yeah, I think I'm clean. See if I got any biological matter on my hands. I don't see any hot spots. I think we're doing good. Yeah, I have a UV light. If you travel at all, you need to have a UV light. A UV light is your friend. Let's see here. Sploosh. the, the volcano of love, baby. Let's see here. That's why we don't ask questions. Steps away from the bill. slowly, slowly backs away into the darkness. Oh, shit. Wilbo said, I'll just skip this one. I listen to it. I'm listening. I'll listen to it on the outside. It's all good. Hell yeah, dude. Bobby, he's back. He couldn't stay. He couldn't stay all messed up forever. He had to get back on there. Uh, let's see here. Who else is popping in? Red Pill. Robbie said go to Tractor Supply and get. Yeah, bot. I don't know. I don't know what that word is for your pony. He'll be like new in a day or two. I don't know what that is. Hostile Harrison, got a roll. Great show. Keep banging. Yes, sir. Thank you for showing up, man. You guys are just too cool. Let's see. Franco Quaid. Feels like I've been clean now for 2 years. Or for 2 hours this month. He said 2 hours and he changed it to 2 years. We all know what's up, Franco. Slacking, man. Stu said, first step, we need a van with a seat that slides out the side door. Yeah, so that way you could do So yeah, you could totally do that stupid shit. You could put the thing in there and you could have a sound like a bass cannon kind of a thing where you can do the thing and shoot that sound around. You could absolutely do that stupid shit. That'd be cool, man. And that's just a handicap slide out. It's not terribly hard to get, and you could find a van that's already got that kind of a rig in it. A lot of times it's sort of blown up motor or whatever. You put a motor in it. I mean, there's options. But yeah, I mean, I'm all about jumping into a crazy ass thing like that. That's cool. But yeah, he's thinking. See, now you're thinking. Start the theme at the bottom, man, and build up to it. And hell, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle band, perfect. Make it the same exact thing as the show. That's a gimme. So now you got that already rock solid, and what you do on the inside is just crazy. Like I said, pizza themes, man, because they love some pizza. I do too. Pizza is good. Stu said, "Hell yeah, just keep on keeping on." I'm back, going off. I'm back, gang. Off work now. That's how we do it, man. We just go. We go for a minute. We go until y'all run out of questions. W said, need someone to remake the Foot Stinks Turtle Van. I don't know about that one. I don't know nothing about that. That's a new thing for me. With explodes. Yeah, that would be a good sub to use in a turtle build, man. It would be perfect. You could even redo the Sony Explode logo and put crossing swords, crossing katanas as the X. See, tying all that stuff in makes the thing the thing. You know, find those little tie-ins, man, to make it cool. Because once you get to the point to where you can build loud shit, I mean, you might as well make it cool as well. And I'm trying to do some cool stuff in my Tahoe. I'm working on. I got a couple of things I'm wanting to do to kind of make it a little bit more special. But I'll be working on that over the winter. This is all going to be aesthetic stuff mostly. Funky Pup. Yeah, Funky Pup would rock, man. Funky Pup would get it done. I like it. And Big D loves talking about some Funky Pups, man. He's good. I've actually ran Funky Pup subs back in the day. I've done it. Everybody's run the big sale at the big huge sale thing where they sell all the stuff. I've run those cheap speakers. Those, I'm gonna tell you something. If you get a hold to some of those cheap 12s and cheap 15s, they're like why would I put these in a car? They're not going to last. But if you build them into a cabinet for a home stereo system, running those little lightweight, efficient, cheap drivers on low power can give you a whole lot with a little bit of money and really make they make really good home audio setups. So it's not always about the power, man. Everybody's thinking it's got to be all about the power. Why not have? Think about it like this: you could put 9,000 horsepower in a monster truck, okay, or you can put 1,000 horsepower in a Miata. On the road, they're both going to, So the more efficiency is the thing. So it's like that's why you start with the box and you build the right enclosure to make the sub more efficient. It takes less power to get busy, right? Make the most efficient system you can to get the loud as you can on the least amount of power. And then once you've got to that point, then you can add more power and you can get that extra kick out of it. But start out with efficiency. To give you an example, on Sundown Unofficial's channel, they built the pink Sundown Blazer, and my boy was using that thing to test an amplifiers. He was testing different amplifiers, hooking them up into the Blazer to the two 18-inch Sundown U series subs, and a really seriously biased fourth order build with this huge. The whole thing is built as a speaker. It's a crazy thing. The point is, he put a Sundown 750 watt amp in there on that thing, and with 750 watts, and the amp ended up getting to like 13 or 1400 watts when they finally give up, but he was deep into clipping at that point. The point is, even at that, he was doing well up into the 160s on with 750 watt amp essentially. And the reason was not because the amp was amazing, which is a good amp, not because the subs were amazing, but the Sundown U's are good subs. It's the box. The build was the key. You could take that same equipment and put it in a crappy box and it would sound like a piece of shit. But you could also put cheap subs in there and a cheap amp and still get a whole lot of power out of it. It's because of the box. The box is the key. The box is always the key. Let's see here. All in the details, Stu said. Discreet. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is making it blend, making it hide, make it look factory, or make it look like the factory did it, even if it doesn't look the original. I get it. I like those too. It's a different kind of environment, different kind of appreciation. I appreciate a good SQ system. I do, just as much. And there's the visual aspect is important because we absorb most of our information with our eyes. So whether you want it to look crazy and loud and stupid, or whether you want it to look like it's a stock vehicle, maybe with stock, bonused up stuff, but stock looking, or maybe you want to make it look not stock, but look like it could possibly be stock, but you don't know. Like having the speaker grills a slightly different color and having everything kind of, there's all kinds of different levels, and it's putting the level into the details. Regardless of what those details are, the details do matter. Whether you go, with crazy bonkers bonsai shit, or whether it's something that looks totally chill, having it look right is the key. Whatever look you're going for. And I appreciate all of them. Anytime I see somebody that really put the time into making the thing look a certain way, that gets my attention. Even if it's not the way I would have done it, I appreciate the work and the time and the effort and the quality that they produced. Corey's in the house, Stu said. Debbie, okay. We'll hear you out. Hear me out. Funky Pup Cone on a ZV5 motor. Tar amps went smart 8K and a Boss shell to fool everyone. A Tar amp Smart 8K and a Boss shell. Okay, yeah, I dig that. But why not even take it further than that? But I really like making a ZV5 look like a Funky Pup, regardless of whether you did that custom or not. That would be cool. There was a guy on the internet for a while that was doing custom dust caps. And I really think that market needs to come back because you could get anything printed on dust caps. And imagine it's not terribly hard to put a new dust cap on something if you're, especially if you're reconing it anyway. And you could make them however you want them to be. And he was doing like carbon fiber, custom carbon fiber dust caps. Freaking sick stuff, man. And imagine Funky Pup dust caps, man. The whole build with Funky Pup dust caps on the subs. That would be very cool. See, that's the kind of shit I would straight up put Funky Pup on the side of the freaking vehicle, like the whole thing wrapped. It would be sick. It's so simple. As far as the amps, well, you could do that. The thing was he was talking about with the Boss and make it look, but less people would get that. I mean, yeah, the hardcore bass heads would absolutely go, huh? What? But most people wouldn't get that. But if you made a amp casing that it was a Funky Pump amp, and make it all like Funky Pup on it, that would be cool. And it reaches so many people because even people that don't know anything about the Funky Pup subs and Funky Pup stuff, they would still find it cool. Kids would go, "Ooh, look at that! That's cool. It's cartoony. It's cool." So everybody would get something out of that. I dig it, man. Parts Express, yeah. The amp till the amp catches on fire. Yeah, for whatever reason, Boss amps don't catch on fire. They're tough as shit, dude. They are tough. They do not make their power, no, but they're really good amps. You'd be surprised if you want something that's going to take abuse and be reliable. Those Boss amps are really good. They're super cheap and they do make power, just not a whole lot of it. I have no complaints. I've had a couple of Boss amps in my life, and neither of them ever gave me a lick of problems. One was the old school. It was before Boss kind of went to a different direction, and I had a 5-channel from Boss that that I ran in my Ford Ranger, and it sounded absolutely freaking amazing. This again was a different Boss than what's out there now. The other one was one of the Boss amps that's out there now, and I was living on an extreme budget, but I had to have bass. I ordered that. I ordered a really cheap CCA bass amp kit with 8-gauge wire in it. And I had that Boss amp, and I had ordered a really cheap head unit. And I scraped together and made this work. And then my subwoofer was from the Salvation Army. It was a home theater subwoofer that was on the shelf at Salvation Army for like $10. And I thought about it a lot before I bought it, even though it was cheap as hell. $10 was $10, man. I was really scraping 2 pennies together, but I really wanted some bass. And honestly, that system sounded really good. It was in a Jeep Cherokee with that cheap Boss amp and a freaking home theater, speaker, old home theater subwoofer. Sounded really good. So I have been there. I have been there where you don't even have 2 pennies to rub together. I've totally been there, but I still had bass. I'm a bass head. I'd rather have bass than food, man. That's just me. So yeah, you don't even need a voltmeter when you can rate power with the amount of fire produced. For real. A watt meter. No, it's a thermometer. Why is your headliner burnt? That's a long story. Stu said, I feel like lighting is an underappreciated aspect in a vehicle design as well. Not just lighting up things with LEDs, but also accent lighting from places like the headliner or under the dash. Yeah, sure. If you, and the way I see it is, if you actively notice the lighting, then it's probably not well done. If you look into it and you just kind of take the whole thing in and it all sort of makes sense, that's when the lighting is right. If you walk up to it and you go, oh, look at all these lights, then that's not going to be the perfect solution. It's got to be something it's something subtle. Turning the lights down, having them hid where you can't see the source of the light, having just a little hint of glow coming out of a certain spot to help kind of show the lines of the thing when it's doing that. These are all little subtle things. And if you do that and you get that to work, then you've got your lighting figured out. I agree with you 100%, Stu. And Dubby does too. Chef, what's up, man? Chef said, what's with all the wire showing lately? Back in the day, if we know what we're doing, the app ran fiberglass and clean. My words, my brain shut down in the middle of reading that. I'm going to try to read it again. What's with all the wire showing lately? Back in the day, if we know why our showing in the app ran through the word for 3 fiberglass, nice and clean, put your think. Sir! That is not a sentence. He's typing this shit on his phone, and the phone's filling in words, and he don't even know what the hell's going in there. Hold on. Here we go. Let's go to this next one. That is not a sentence. This is English. We work with English around here. I'm not sure what's up with the amp wire showing lately. Back in the day, it was all ran through the road. Nice and clean. What's your thoughts on this? Okay, so the road. I like running my wire through the road. I love it, dude. You're killing me. Give me a second. All right, so essentially there's 3 schools of thought. There's three. One school of thought is, and this is old school, back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of times there was a lot of thought process and work went into hiding absolutely every single wire. Like having the amp floating and having the wires completely out of view. And that is still one way of looking at this. And a lot of people build that way. A lot of SQ cars are built that way. That's totally fine. The second one is chaos. Okay. I just threw this shit in here. It works. Here it is. And then you kind of control the chaos a little bit with a few wire ties to make it less chaotic. But you have the chaos. This is a typical SPL guy because he just put that shit in last night. You know what I'm saying? He may have put it in the parking lot while he was at the event. That's the SPL guy. They're almost always chaos because they don't care about that. They want the thing to make a number and they don't care about anything else. Then there's the third opinion on it, and that is the schematic. And I really like the schematic. So you lay out your shit where you want it, and the wires are there. So you make them extremely neat and oriented and moving in an intentional direction and fixed, showing all of the workings of what's happening. And I personally like that. If you are familiar with 5-Star Car Audio, Dean and Fernando, they have a Facebook group called the Clean Wire Club. If you haven't been there, okay, and you're into car audio, you're missing out on a whole lot of really cool stuff. These guys are absolutely insane. Period. They're insane. But the work they do is off the chain. And it isn't just Dean and Fernando. It's a whole lot of other people sending in their wiring, showing off their wiring. Again, you can either cover it up or take the time to make it perfect. And that's the cool thing. If you're hiding all the wires, they could look like chaos behind the panels, right? But if you're showing the wires, now everybody can see all your work. It's all on display. The dress is lifted, okay? And so everything is full view. There's certain element of coolness whenever you can show all your wiring and it looks freaking clean and perfect, that is a whole different level. That's kind of why I like that. But a lot of the guys in the 80s and 90s were wire hiders, man. And that's got its own look. It's its own thing. It's cool. But what does it look like behind the panels? That's what I'm wanting to know. And with the open exposed wires, I can see all that. So it's like, yeah, it's got its own thing. They're all opinions count. All opinions count. Let's see. That was a hell of a word, man. Yeah, that's exactly what my brain said when I tried to read that shit. I got your question, but that's why. Too much 420. He may be having the stroke. Someone check on him. He might be, man. It has words. Come on. Stu, where's your shop? North Mississippi, I think. Hostile hair. Best I could tell, he's in North Mississippi. I hope I'm right about that abbreviation because, I don't know. We keep changing things. I mean, Pluto's not a planet no more and all that shit, He's having a stork. You guys are awesome, dude. You guys are so awesome. Funny as hell. It's not a stork, it's a heron. Tupelo. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right down the road. My sister lives real close to where you are there in the Tupelo, Mississippi. That's just right outside of Memphis, man. Used to drive through there on a constant basis going to Atlanta and Macon, Georgia. So yeah, my sister lives like 40 miles or so on the other side of West Memphis. So yeah, it's just right down the road, man. You ain't far. Now wires everywhere. Yep. Look at the Clean Wire Club. Should I pull that shit up? What do y'all think? Maybe I can make it work. Let me see. We'll check it out. Man, it's loud, ain't it? I know it's coming over the microphone. It's so loud. I'm going to shut these boxes up. Yeah, we're going to check out some Clean Wire Club shit. I'm going to show you some of this shit I'm talking about. Hang on. All right, so this is an example. You can see all of the wiring in this, right? All the wiring. It's all on display. But look at these installs, guys. Look at the amount of work that's gone in to making this perfect, right? Look at that. I mean, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Look at the fuses. This thing is beautiful. It's gorgeous. Look at this work. This is stuff that I'm impressed by. It's going through the boot, man. Look at that lit up. See, this is what we're talking about. Putting your, put your name on that, dude. What else we got in here? Let me go back up here. This is the first one I came to. Like, they're everywhere. Look at this guy. Look at this. I love this. This is gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the work and of everything, putting this all together and making it look perfect. I mean, yeah, G-Body, no, I don't live in Memphis. I grew up down there close to Memphis, though. My sister still lives in the area. So this is just some of the stuff, man. It's all these different builds. This is, I don't even know what this is, but look at it. It's gorgeous. I love this is just going down and just scrolling down the page. Look at the work put into this. This isn't even a car, I don't think. It may be. But look at the wiring on this fuse box. Look how clean this is. How much time and effort went into making that look perfect. If your shit is wired and looks like that, that person spent plenty of time deciding on everything, making sure it was all perfect. It's going to be wired correctly because he puts his hands are on everything so many times to achieve that. That level of detail means that you're actually paying attention to what you're doing. And I love when I see work like that. Clean, accurate, someone who says, hey, I'm representing, hey, look at this guy. I don't know who this guy is. How about that shit? I just popped up in here. That's mine. That's my rig right there. So how about that? That's my Tahoe. Again, and yeah, and this is I just pulled it up and started going through it, and my shit popped up in there. I'm impressed. I hadn't even been back over here in a minute. But that's the newer version. That's after I changed everything up a little more, and I had to add. So this is my under the hood setup under there. Well, it's actually a little bit different now, but yeah, that's me. I'm in the Clean Wire Club. I love it. But yeah, look at this. This is how you do it, man. It's easy to chase down problems whenever your wires are perfectly situated like that. But I just wanted to show you some examples of what I like about that. I think this is why. So now that's good examples of why people are doing it that way. And surely you can look at that and you go, okay, yeah, that's freaking cool. But it doesn't mean it's for everybody. You may want to cover up pretty much everything. And I get it. Let's see here. Exactly. That's one good reason for sure. And if you have a problem and you don't know where it's at, it's easy to chase it because you can see all the stuff. It's all right out there in front of you. Yeah, you don't want to have to move all those zip ties, Dovey. Stu said, I remember back at school when you had to show your work. Now we're doing it with wire. Sure. And but again, you're exposing everything. You're not hiding anything. It's all right there. And with Amazon and how cheap it is to get, like wire loom and different kinds of stuff, and we can get literally everything. You're only limited by what you want to put into it because there's so many options out there to color coordinate and organize and create themes with wiring and stuff. It's like, why hide this? This is such a beautiful thing. It can be very, very beautiful. So why would I hide it? I don't know. There's good points. I mean, it is what it is. Some people are fans of the Clean Wire Club. Yeah, I'm definitely fans of the Clean Wire Club. I'm all about that. It shows the work, and you see what the hell's going on. Let me ask you something. If you were having something installed somewhere, would you rather it be installed the way those guys installed it? Or would you rather it be just kind of bunched up and pushed to the side with a couple of screws in it and hold it in place? Even though they're both exactly the same, you're going to get the same sound. Which would you prefer to see if you pulled the panels back and looked? Right? That's my thought too. I know what your answer is. Stu, you're doing it wrong. If it can be seen. Yeah. If I show wires the customer wasn't on a budget. Yeah. What about cleanly set up wire too? It's neat. Exactly. Zip tied. Yep. Lock it down. SQ users with those copper tubes make it look good. I had straight up thought about doing this build. This you're bringing it back to mind. I think about it all the time. So I'm going to describe it to you guys. Okay. So y'all can let this shit flow. And hopefully everybody here is familiar with the term steampunk. My idea would be to mount the amps and use copper tube, like copper pipe, as power and ground wires, running them on angles and then having them naked pipe You could figure out ways to insulate them with clear insulation or something, but just think of it for the aesthetics right now. Think of it in your head as naked, just naked copper pipe running in, up, and into it, and then you got all your copper lines running and running to the subs. The subs would be mounted on a thing where you can see the backside of them. The wires would be bare copper, thick copper wires running out and then into the subs so that they're like all on angles. And then on the copper pipe, you could have one of those steam pressure gauges, have it reconfigured to show you the voltage of the amp, and have it mounted in that pipe. You'd run the wires to get to it inside the pipe to do the thing, but you could have it mounted on the pipe. You could do all kinds of stuff with stuff that would normally be mounted in a copper pipe. You use the elbows and all that stuff. It'd be very freaking cool, and have it showing. And how cool is it if all of it is bare? There's nothing stopping something from connecting to something else other than space and having it fastened in such a way that it can't move. I think that build would be very, very, very cool. And leaving it at that, let you guys cook that shit in your brain, because you could have the radiator in there. You could do crazy shit, like you could literally use, you could run wire through the pipe too if you wanted to go that route. But you could use a copper cooling system, so you could have a copper colored or whatever radiator for your fans to pull. You could liquid cool the freaking amplifiers and run that through a radiator and have all that kind of stuff showing. You could do some really sick, crazy ass build with that configuration. There's like a million ideas that come into my head. Let's see here. One downside to all that neat wiring is accessing it afterwards. Yes. But if you do the wiring correctly and everything's correctly, technically you shouldn't need to access it, other than just to change a piece of equipment, which it should be fairly easy to do. The wiring should stay there. It'll stay put because it's going to be the same thing. And you shouldn't have to worry about it getting damaged or anything, because it's so fastened down that it's just going to stay safe. It's going to be a conductor forever. So, but I get what you're saying for real. Sent you a couple pics with some clean wiring, Stu said. All right, let's see here. I think the steampunk idea's got wings, man. You could mount the amplifiers backwards, having the back of the circuit board showing as their surface, or something like that, or plexium, some kind of way. There's other amps out there that have a real coppery look, like those SQ amps with the big, huge dills inside, and all that kind of stuff. Combine that with the whole copper theme going on, I think it could be really freaking sick. I don't know exactly how to put it to work, but I can see this being just absolutely off the chain. I've had this idea in my head for years. Let's see here. Taking notes tonight. Hell yeah. Well, there's notes. The video stays up on YouTube. You can go back and watch. Good stuff. Bought more Sony Explodes. You said you sent me a picture. Let me go back and look and see. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let me back up here and start at the beginning. All right. Y'all want to see some of Stu's work? Give me a hands up if you want to see it. I know you do. You ain't got to tell me. I know. All right. So we're rocking some kicker now. This is work from Stu. And this looks real good. It's not perfect. This is more, this is the kind of wire, clean wire that you expect to see from a really extremely good installer. Taking their time and making it super clean and super right. It's not insanely accurate like Clean Wire Club guys get really stupid with it. This is more a making it look perfect and making it be super secure and super clean, but not going all in on making every wire be the exact right length to where everything works perfectly. Having said that, it's like right here, but it looks really good. It looks super good. It's a very clean install. Awesome, Stu. Let's look at the next picture here. That's a good example. Yes, having the remote wire running down between them. That's perfect. That looks perfect. And there's a little bit of thought went into making these the same because you had to make them different lengths to make them work like this and line up like this, making the curves come in right. Uh, the remote wire coming in nice. These two guys cross up and are very symmetric. That looks really, really good. Another example of yes, perfect. This is an old school trick, running the wires underneath the amp. Got little standoffs on them to give them a little rise so they can slide underneath. And that looks really, really good. Excellent. I was picking on your first picture, though. Let me go back and pull that up. Okay, we're still got some of them. I missed them. Somehow I got lost. This is another one of the installs. That's the same one actually there, and he was showing this one. Okay, I see what he did. So yeah, that's the build right there. There's the boxes. There's the kickers. That's a different one though. This is a different build, but it's the same style of boxes. He's using the passive radiators, 2 amplifiers. That's sexy, dude, because that's that box. Um, so yeah, and for some reason, okay, yeah. So this one, then there was this one, and this one. I'm only picking on you because the wiring going to your 9-wire is not the same length, right? You got a little bit of, if you were the serious clean wire guy, you would come in here and break the wire off here, and then you'd have short wire going to slightly longer wire, slightly longer wire, slightly longer, until they would all look like they were in a row. Same thing here. But not knocking it. This is a really great solid connection, and it's super clean. But that's the only thing I can see on all of this that doesn't that puts you out of the running for the top clean wire stuff. And I'm just nitpicking as one does. But yes, I would absolutely have zero problems running a system that you installed. This looks really, really good, and it's really, really well done. So I'm picking on you and giving you all the input I can. Um, I love constructive criticism. It looks good. Let's see here. Let's find what we're doing. Oh, yeah. My brain turned off. Never mind that. It's a crazy guy in the corner with the football helmet duct taped to his head because he can't stop slamming his face into the concrete. And then mommy gets nervous. That pedal gear off a mountain bike. I might have to think about that one. I'm not sure. That pedal gear off a mountain bike. Okay, yeah, the gear. Okay, a sprocket gear. Okay. Cut angle into it and make it an amp mount off the back wall. Okay, I dig it. A sprocket. Yeah. I hope everybody was taking notes tonight. Yep. Arc Audio Copper Series amps. Yeah, see, that'd be cool. But you could also just do that, I mean, all you need to do is a lot, all the stuff. You could do an amp with a mount upside down, kind of an inverted thing. If it's got the right color board, and then light the amp up from the inside. There's all kinds of really, really cool shit you could do with that build. And it would have to be a completely exposed thing. You'd want to have plexi everywhere. You'd want to have plexi sub enclosures. It's not going to be cheap at all because it would be one big steampunk vibe, So all of it would be exposed, or at least it would all appear to be exposed. It doesn't necessarily have to be exposed. It just has to appear to be. Case in point, I saw another build where a guy took a translucent. So basically, okay, check this shit. So you take your power wire and your ground and your signal wires and your speaker wires, all that shit, and you get a transparent tube, okay, and you frost it. It means you sand it lightly so it's frosted, and you run all your wires through all of this hard transparent tube with this frosted surface, and you add RGB to that inside the tube. Then whenever your system is running, you turn the shit on, you can see the signal coming from the radio to the DSP. The pulse of RGB goes in, and you see the power going out to the speakers. The pulse goes that direction. The power and ground flow going opposing directions, all lighting up this frosted tube, showing the signal path as it goes through everything. And I know I just blew Stu's mind with that one. He's like, oh shit. And how hard is that to build? It's a lot of work, but it's not expensive. You just need some clear tubing of some sort. Like you could use cooling tubes for PC stuff. You could use all kinds of different things, but you just create this, use your brain. Think about it. You can do some really wild stuff, man. Have that little pulse going into the amp, coming out. You could have red going in and like black, going in, and or not black, but like a purple or something for the ground and the positive, and feeding the amplifier, and then the speakers, it would just come out and go towards the speakers. There's so many different things we can do. We have so many options today with creativity. And it's a shame that people aren't doing this crazy shit more often, because it's literally an infinite supply of tools to express the creativeness that's there. That Amazon is huge, and there's so many things. And then there's 3D printing. Holy shit, that opens up a whole new world of stuff. You can 3D print crazy stuff. You can scan it. You can do this cheaply. It's not even expensive. Bonkers, man. It's bonkers. More Sony explodes. Debbie wants some Sonys. Okay. All right. That's a legit question. It's a pretty easy one to answer. So, what would I consider to be better, 2 12-inch subs or a single 15? 2 12s will give you more cone area than a single 15. When it comes to sub sizes, it's always that way. 2 6.5s gives you more cone area than 2 8s. 2 8s gives you more cone area than 2 10s. 2 10s gives you more than a 12. 2 12s more than a 15. 2 15s more than an 18. That's consistent. So the next question is, how much movement front to back? Okay. So if you're comparing the same exact subs, even if they're like the same line, sometimes the amount of movement is going to change. So if you look at the cone area plus the amount of travel that the cone moves forward and backwards per sine wave, that's going to change things too. Then you got to consider, how big is the baffle? What shape is the baffle? What shape is the space I have for the baffle? That's going to dictate things. 2 12s can fit in a squasher, more smaller thing, and a 115 can fit in a square space. If you've got a space that's like 18 by 18, for example, and you need a square, a 15 is going to work pretty good there. 2 12s ain't going to fit there. There's lots and lots and lots of questions. But if you're wanting to make sound pressure, if you've got the same amount of cone movement front to back, your X max, and you've got the same amount of, the only thing you're changing is the size of the cone, and you have room for whatever, you're going to get more cone movement and more air movement by 2 12s of the same exact caliber as a 15. Usually that's not going to happen though. Usually your 15 is going to have more travel than your 12s. And that kind of makes up for that. So whenever you add the travel in, you may end up catching up with those 12s and as far as the amount of travel, amount of air movement. The other thing is that you get double the motor on 2 12s. You got two motors instead of just one. So many different factors. But you're going to get, the 15 is going to inherently like playing lows better. So if you're really interested in digging deep and getting into the deep lows, the 20s, then probably a single 15 would be the better choice, as long as everything else lines up. So it's a complicated answer because it's not an easy answer. It's a complicated question. Yeah. Signal 15 is going to be cheaper than 2 12s too, and easier to power. Lots of complications there, man. Okay, next question. What would I rather have? M series, be a Memphis M series, or M series Sundown 12, or a Kicker Solo X12? Uh, I would rather have the Kicker 12 because of a few different things. It's better designed for sound quality. It's going to be better designed, and the Kicker support staff is far better, far better than Sundown. Uh, Depending on what exactly you're doing, but I would pick the Kicker 12 in that scenario. Yes. Cornut says DIY installs with rat's nest of wires sucks. Mm-hmm. Good installer makes it easy for another installer to know what. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. 100% Cornut. It's easy to trace that stuff back. It's looking at a schematic. If you can read a schematic, you can understand the wiring because it's a schematic. It's just on a real schematic. It makes sense to me. It's logical to me. I like them hidden somewhere. I want to see the work, but I want to see the work of the Fox report out inside the box. Okay. Right. I got you. Yeah, Stu, man. Like I said, I'm not dumping on it at all. I'm just critiquing it. That's the only thing I see that could be just a little bit more thought out. I mean, functionally, it's brilliant and it's clean as shit. But if you're wanting to make it perfect, that would be my only thing that I spot that would make it look perfect. The clean wire guys are really rough, man. I mean, they're rough. You like if you crimp a bunch of crimps on your shit, the crimps need to be lined up. Like if you got a dent crimper, right? The dents either only on top or all on the bottom. All that kind of stuff. They're really, really, really meticulous. It's a whole art form to them, you know. I appreciate the input. Let's see here. No, man, don't stop by the hour. You're flat rate. Flat rate will get you in trouble, man. Flat rate will get you underbidding quickly, and you. That's the thing. By the hour, if shit goes sideways, you're still getting paid for your time. If you charge flat rate, and then your customer, you're supposed to start at 8, and your customer shows up at noon because they got caught up in something. You just lost 4 hours of time, and you've been standing there for 4 hours waiting, and so you burned that 4 hours. You don't even get paid for that, you know. So now your time, you've invested 4 extra hours into it, or something happens. Shit happens. All kind of shit happens. I charge by the hour. Charge by the hour, man. Figure it up on hourly or do it, or just or give an estimate and bill them at the end per hour. I mean, that's what you got to do, or else you're going to screw yourself. It happens. It happens all the time. I told my friends, I said, look, if you're wanting to do this shit for money, here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. You want to know how to start? Sure, I'll tell you. So the guy, look, I'll build it for free, but you got to buy me a skill saw, this skill saw, or maybe a skill saw and a jigsaw for free. But you buy me the tools, and I'll do the work for you for free. And now you got the tools. Now you have tools that you can carry over into the next job. Doing flat rate stuff. There's all kinds of ways you can bargain with people. People love to bargain. I mean, sure, it's the same as paying money, but you're going to put it towards something that's going to help you in the future, and that's cool. Think about it. Work with the customer. Oh my God, like seeing in the inside of the box and subs, see through front, see them moving and lit up. Yeah, that's cool. I dig it. And see through your box is really cool. They're also really stupid expensive because freaking polycarbonate is unbelievably expensive, but it is very cool. Stu said, I absolutely did that wiring and that build on my own. It looks great, man. Yep, and I agree with that. See, that's the point. The point I'm making is exactly what Stu is saying right here. It wasn't an hourly rate. I just wanted to make it nice for him. That is important to me. I'm working, guys. I mean, I know I'm talking about rates and shit, but I do all this shit I'm doing for free. I don't charge anybody anything for this stuff. In fact, I probably put in maybe $50 worth of materials in this last build that come out of my stash, right, straight into the build. Um, there's no compensation for that monetarily, but the grin on the guy's face at the end, seeing how good it looks and how proud he is of it, that was my payment for it, you know. And so, yeah, man, that's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy making people happy, and that's what I'm doing. And I get content out of it. Sure, I want to get some monetization off the video. Sure, I'm going to get some ad revenue off that video. Absolutely, that's what I get out of the deal. That and helping people. I don't always get to video it. Sometimes I'm just out here just doing stuff with people in the parking lot, helping them sort their stuff out, helping them figure out a plan, helping them figure out why something don't work right. All this stuff. I get asked lots and lots of questions on a daily basis outside of YouTube. And none of that pays me anything. It's just me being me. That's who I am. That's what I do. Um, my wife hates it. She hates it. Being in the middle of this, I get caught up in helping somebody, and she's just sitting there. She'll sit there for an hour. She's getting mad, but she just sits there and she don't like it, but she knows how I am. She'll see it coming too. She'll be like, "Oh no." He's gonna go. Yeah, he is. He's going to do that. Yeah, he is. Um, People who don't haggle prices take my recommendations and get the best installs by far. Absolutely, 100%, man. Because you know what you want. You know what they need. It's just convincing them that they're wrong and you're right. That's not always easy. Fried rice is your cheapest, more gooder car audio stuff of all time. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've seen some of his stuff. Jerry Ain't Loud did a build for him. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's a good build. Adding more notes to the book. Yes. See what Chef said. What's a box like that cost to build? Oh, son. That box? That's a Stu question. I'm going to let Stu answer it. What up, these nuts? Yeah, baby. What's up, man? Glad you made it in here, these nuts. I was just talking about, I believe I was talking about your build. Let's see here. The SQ. Yeah. I straight up didn't even realize who said that. It was these nuts. Yeah. The Q looks good sealed. What we got else here? And the Kona is the Kona really just count? Hold on, shit. Let me get this up here. Y'all got to help me read this. Is the Kona really just count when it comes to the cabin size to the ear, in the ear, cabin size in the car? Okay. Is the Kona really just count when it comes to the cabin size in the car? Cone area? I'm not sure what the question is. I bet you I'll get a better version of it. Let's see. Cone area. Yeah, I was right. Cone area. Cone area. Cone area discount. Cone area does count when it compared to the set to the cabin size of the car. Let's see how to answer that. I got the gist of your question, even though it was very badly worded by autocorrect. Does the cone area count when it comes to cabin size? To some degree, it depends on who you're talking to and how deep you're going to go down the rabbit hole. It gets, I'm seeing W up there. It gets tricky. So if you're doing SQ kind of stuff, man, look, I'm going to tell you, there's going to be people that will say, yes, you got to have this much cone area for this much airspace in the car. Yes, and that's accurate. That's true. I mean, you really do need a certain amount of cone area to energize a set amount of airspace in the car, just like you would build a box a specific size to handle a certain type of speaker. The car itself is part of the sub-enclosure. The front of that box, that part that that part of the cabin that you're energizing is a separate chamber of a sub-enclosure. However, it's a very bad one. It's very floppy and bouncy and doesn't really contain pressure very well. So yes and no. I mean, usually the rule is more cone area is better. It's always going to be better. If you have far more cone area than you can possibly need to pressurize it, you're just going to create a lot more wind. And wind is good. We all like wind. Wind is what we're looking for. We want hair to fly. We want to float bricks in the window. So yes and no. But yes, it does count. But the no is you're probably never going to get to that amount of cone area that would really suit that setup anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Does that make sense? Best way I could answer it. And I'm not qualified to go any deeper than that because there's a lot of maths involved. And me and maths, we don't get along. We're not happy people. Let's see here. Kicker. We live the audio life. Yes, we do, Stu. Ding, ding, ding. Cone area. Yep. Franco Quaid. W said Kona area is Kinga. Yeah, 100%. Passing the bud. Oh man, I love it. I love it, dude. I love it. It's funny stuff. All right, guys. Well, we have had an amazing night. I have not eaten today, so I'm going to be jumping. Yeah, D's Nuts said he's headed to bed too. Before I get in trouble and have to put my nose in the Kona area. You guys, y'all are so awesome. I appreciate y'all for stopping by, and the video will be coming whenever I manage to get my phone recharged and do all the editing and all that. There's a video coming in the next day or so. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, slam that like button. If you haven't already done it, hit the subscribe. And feel free to comment after this video on the video itself when it's on the channel, because I check and read every single comment on every single video on my channel constantly. I may not always pick up the response comment, but I will get the initial comment. So if I haven't responded to a comment for you, if you don't respond to yourself, make a new comment, because then it'll show up in my feed. If it's a response to the initial comment, I don't see it as easy. But I will absolutely respond, and I read every single comment that comes through. And guys, for now, let's get the duck out of here, baby.
Subwoofers are getting loud, you can feel the booming sound. Getting ready to go, got it shined up for the show. Hours charging, amps are amping, gonna let the woofers blow. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. We got more at home, another one bites the dust.
Man, never screw with high people.
Eyes are glowing and the amps smoking, subs are cherry red. Let me keep jamming, gotta keep the bass slamming, gonna go hard till they're dead. Full power, gotta let it go, 20 hertz in the floating air. Sparks are flying, voice cords are frying, and the smoke is in the air. Another one bites the dust. Another one and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. Hey, we got more at home. Another one bites the dust. Got it. Got it. Spoon.
Y'all remember, love your neighbor. Show love to everybody. That's how we roll.